ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Okay, good morning. So I think all of you follow the classes, very less number of people, especially in seniors. So whatever it is, this is compulsory. Now, yesterday we discussed about series, power, rating power, rating voltage, resistance, and how the two heaters are connected in series and parallel. We discussed about all those topics. Now today we can discuss about if the bulbs are connected in parallel. Bulbs are connected in series or parallel. First, in series, if two bulbs having different wattage are connected in series, what is the effective power? That's we have to calculate now. Two bulbs are connected in series with the help of the external potential. What is the effective power? Two bulbs, for example, one is 60 watts bulb, one is let us say 100 watts bulbs. If these two are connected in series, what is the effective power? That's we are going to calculate. So see here, we know P is equals to V square by R. So here, for example, if two bulbs having power ratings P1 and P2 are connected in series, if two bulbs having power rating P1 and P2 are connected in series, what happens? So we know the concept power is equals to V square by R. If two bulbs having the power ratings P1 and P2 are connected in series, so let's R1 comma R2 are the resistances of two bulbs. R1 comma R2 are the resistances of the two bulbs. Now in this situation, if two bulbs are connected in series, so R effective can be written as, we can write it as R1 plus R2. If two bulbs are connected in series, having resistances R1 and R2, effective resistance must be R1 and R2, effective resistance is equals to R1 plus R2, no doubt about that. So because the resistances are in series, the two bulbs are connected to same potential. So that means like this. Two bulbs, let us say this power rating is P1, this power rating is P2, this resistance is R1, this resistance is R2. If these two are connected to the same potential, these two bulbs are in series, are connected to the same potential. So effective resistance is equals to R1 plus R2. P1 and P2 are the individual powers. Now, so finally P effective can be written as V square by total resistance is R1 plus R2. So what is the effective power? Effective power of the combination, that's we are going to calculate. Effective power can be written as power formula V square by R. What is the potential connected here? V. What is effective resistance here? R1 plus R2. If two resistances are connected in series, effective resistance is R1 plus R2. If the two bulbs are connected to the same potential, these two are connected to the same potential, then effective power can be written as that is V square by R1 plus R2, V square by R1 plus R2. This is the effective power. So now in this situation we know P is equals to V square by R, then R can be written as V square by P. That means R1 can be written as V square by P1, R2 can be written as V square by P2. So P effective is equals to V square by R1 plus R2. Then we know R is equals to V square by P. R1 can be written as V square by P1, R2 can be written as V square by P2. Then here P effective can be written as V square by, we can write it as V square by P1 plus V square by P2. So P effective can be written as V square by, V square common, it's 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2. V square gets cancelled. So P effective can be written as 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2. So based on this one we can write 1 by P effective is equals to 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2. This is the effective power in series combination. Effective power in series combination. 1 by P effective is equals to 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2. So this is the concept. The condition is if two bulbs are connected in series having individual power ratings P1 and P2, individual power ratings P1 and P2 are connected in series. So let us say first bulb having resistance R1, second bulb having resistance R2. If two resistances are connected in series, effective resistance R1 plus R2. Now for example P effective power V square by R. What is the total potential here? Total potential is V. That's why this V square by total resistance of the combination, it is R1 plus R2. Total resistance of the combination is R1 plus R2. That's why V square by R1 plus R2. That's the same, that's the thing here. Main thing is, so resistance is R1 plus R2. We have to calculate the effective power here. We have to calculate the effective power. So power formula V square by R. So what is the effective resistance here? R1 plus R2. But we know R is equals to V square by P. P equals to V square by R. R equals to V square by P. So based on that R1 R2. So 1 by P effective is equals to 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2. That is the situation. And remember one thing, blindly you can remember that in case of series combination, so low wattage bulb glows brighter. Low wattage bulb glows brighter. See here, what is the reason it is? So, okay, bulbs are in series. Bulbs are in series. In this, for example, let us say these are the two bulbs connected in series to the external potential. Let us say this power rating is P1 and this power rating is P2. Its resistance is R1 and its resistance is R2. So these are the two bulbs are connected in series. Two bulbs are connected in series whose power ratings are P1 and P2. So simple way is, in case of series combination, low wattage bulb glows brighter. Low wattage bulb glows brighter. How it is possible? Let us see here. So let us say, so we know power is equals to V square by R. So that means power is inversely proportional to R. If the resistance is less, P is more. If the resistance is more, P is less. So that means if the bulb having less resistance, the power consumed must be more. If the bulb having more resistance, the power consumed must be less. So in series combination, see here, from this we can write P1 by P2 is equals to R2 by R1. P1 by P2 is equals to R2 by R1. So let in series combination R effective is equals to R1 plus R2. Then current can be written as potential by resistance. So potential is V and total resistance is R1 plus R2. Here this resistance is R1 and this resistance is R2. Then R effective is equals to R1 plus R2. Then I is equals to V by R1 plus R2. So this is the situation here. Now what is the power consumed in the first bulb? Power consumed in the first bulb. So that is P1 dash is equals to I square R1. So V by R1 plus R2 whole square into R1. Next, power consumed in second bulb. So that is P2 dash is equals to V by R1 plus R2 whole square into R2. So this is the situation here. So actually this is in series combination. Two bulbs having power ratings P1 and P2. Two bulbs having power ratings P1 and P2 whose resistances are R1 and R2 are connected to the external potential V. So general formula, power consumed P is equals to V square by R, then P inversely proportional to R. Here for example, if P1 is less than P2, then R1 must be greater than R2. So from this relation, P is inversely proportional to R because external potential is same, and let us consider the rating potential of these two bulbs also same. The rating potential of these two bulbs also same. So that is P proportional to 1 by R. P1 by P2 is equals to R2 by R1. Then P1 less than P2, R1 is greater than R2. Now, so due to this, what we can say that current is common. Current flowing through these two bulbs must be same because these two are in series. These two bulbs are in series. So current passing through these two bulbs also must be same. Current passing through these two bulbs also must be same. So that's why first power consumed in the first bulb, here it is. Here we considered R1 is greater than R2. Here R1 is greater than R2. Therefore, R1 is greater. Therefore, P1 dash must be greater than P2 dash. According to this, we considered here R1 is greater than R2. Here I is same in these two. That's why R1 is greater than R2. That's why P1 dash is greater than P2 dash. Power consumed in the first bulb is greater than power consumed in the second bulb. So initially what we are considering, P1 is less than P2. But finally we got power consumed in the first bulb is greater than power consumed in the second bulb. That's why in series combination, low wattage bulb glows brighter blindly without doing any calculation. Directly we can say that. So in series combination, low wattage bulb glows brighter. In series combination, low wattage bulb glows brighter. Simply we can say that. Next, bulbs are connected in parallel. If the bulbs are connected in parallel, what is the effective power? How can we calculate that? If the bulbs are connected in parallel combination, bulbs are connected in parallel, how can you calculate this? So see here, two bulbs having power rating are connected in parallel. Let us say it is P1 and it is P2. P1 and P2 are the individual power ratings and its resistance is, let us say, R1 and its resistance is R2. So this is the common potential V. So in parallel combination, whatever is the potential across the first bulb, potential across the second bulb also must be same. Potential across the first bulb and potential across the second bulb must be same. Now we know P is equals to V square by R. So but in parallel combination, so 1 by R effective is equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. If the two resistances are connected in parallel, effective resistance is equals to 1 by R effective equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Now here total power consumed, so P total is equals to V square by R effective, P square by V square by R effective. Then P total is equals to, so V square into, in place of 1 by R effective, in place of 1 by R effective, we can write it is 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. In place of 1 by R effective, we can write 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Then P total is equals to V square by R1 plus V square by R2. So P total is equals to V square by R1 plus V square by V square by R is nothing but power. So let us say P1 plus P2. This is the effective power in parallel combination. So two bulbs are connected in parallel to the external potential V. Potential drop across first bulb must be equal to potential drop across second bulb because these two are in parallel. So that's why in parallel combination 1 by R effective equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So total power. So V square by R effective. So then P total is equals to V square into, in place of 1 by R effective I am writing 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. But V square by R is power. So total power consumed is equals to P1 plus P2. And here in parallel combination, high wattage bulb glows brighter. In parallel combination, high wattage bulb glows brighter, but in series combination, low wattage bulb glows brighter. So that is the situation. Bulbs are series and parallel combination of bulbs. Page number 111. Example: a lamp of 100 watts work at 220 volts. Example problem: a lamp of power rating is given as 100 watts and voltage rating is given as 220 volts. A lamp of 100 watts works at 220 volts. What is the resistance and capacity? Current capacity. Resistance can be written as V square by P, 220 into 220 divided by 100. So 22 is 484. So current capacity. Is I is equals to, so we know P is equals to VI, I is equals to P by V. P is 100 divided by 220, 10 by 22, 5 by 11. So 0.465 amperes. 0.455 amperes. So this is the current capacity of the bulb and this is the resistance of the bulb. So the question is, lamp of 100 watts works at 220 volts. What is the resistance and current capacity? So resistance, current capacity. Next problem. Next example. A 100 watts 220 volts bulb. 100 watts 220 volts bulb is connected to 100 watts 220 volts bulb is connected to 110 volts. Calculate the power consumed by the bulb. Calculate the power consumed by the bulb. This is the rating power and rating potential. This is the actual potential source. So this is the rating power and rating potential of the bulb. Rating power and rating potential. Then resistance can be written as V rating square divided by P rating. Then power consumed actually is V square by R. So V square by VR square divided by PR. So that means V by VR whole square into PR. V by VR whole square into PR. This is the rating power, rating potential. So resistance of this V square by P. So actual power P consumed it is. So if this bulb is connected to 110 volts, if this bulb is connected to 110 volts, what is the power consumed? So power consumed V square by R, but resistance V is given as 110 divided by 220 whole square into 100. So 1 by 2 whole square into 100. So that is 100 by 4. So that is 25 watts. 100 watts 220 volts bulb is connected to the external potential of 110 volts. What is the power consumed? That is 25 watts. So next. Next problem. A 100 watts and 500 watts bulbs are joined in series. Next example, 100 watts and 500 watts bulbs are joined in series, and connected to main. Which bulb will glow brighter? Which bulb will glow brighter? So that is the important here. So simply we can say that low wattage bulb glows brighter. No doubt about that. Low wattage bulb glows brighter. So simply, no doubt about that. If we solve that also, we can get that. So let us say do the solution. So P is equals to V square by R. So P proportional to 1 by R. So that is P1 by P2 is equals to R2 by R1. What is the P1 here? 100 divided by 500 is equals to R2 by R1. So R1 is equals to 5R2. This is the 100 watts and 500 watts bulbs are connected in series and this is connected to the mains. Mains means potentially same. So then P is equals to V square by R. P inversely proportional to R. P1 by P2 is equals to R2 by R1. 100 by 500, that is R1 is equals to 5R2. In series, let us say same current passes. In series combination, same current passes. So power consumed. So let us say P1 dash is equals to I square R1 and P2 dash is equals to I square R2. If these two bulbs are connected in series combination, same amount of current passes. Same amount of current passes means power consumed. How much amount of power consumed? P1 dash is equals to I square R1 and P2 dash is equals to I square R2. Then P1 dash divided by P2 dash is equals to I square R1 divided by I square R2, that is R1 by R2. So R1 is 5 R2 divided by R2. So P1 dash by P2 dash is equals to 5. So P1 dash is equals to 5 P2 dash. P1 dash equals to 5 P2 dash. So that means power consumed by the first bulb is equals to 5 times the power consumed by the second bulb. So that means the power consumed by the first bulb is more. That means power consumed by the 100 watts bulb is more. Power consumed by the 100 watts bulb is more. So that's why in series combination, simply blindly we can say that low wattage bulb glows brighter. Low wattage bulb glows brighter. So after doing this only we can get this one. Next. Next example here. A cell develops the same power across two resistances R1 and R2 separately than the internal resistance of the cell. For example, let us say this is one resistance and this is the cell and this is internal resistance. Let us say R1, this is R, let us say E. And let us say it is connected to another resistance. Let us say it is R2 and it is E small r. If the cell connected to the two resistances separately, R1 and R2 separately, power must be same. That is the given condition. Let us say power developed in this one is P1 and here the power consumed in this situation is P2. So first case, this is the first case and this is the second case. In the first case, total current is equals to total EMF by total resistance R1 plus R. So total current is equals to total EMF by total resistance. Then power consumed, let us say I square R1 E by capital R1 plus R whole square into R1. So that is the power consumed in the first case. Total current passes through the circuit is equals to total EMF by total resistance. P1 is equals to I square R1. So E by R1 plus R whole square into R1. So second situation here, I is equals to E by R2 plus R. I is equals to, then P2 can be written as I. So E by R2 plus R whole square into R2. This is P1 and this is P2. And the given condition is given that power consumed in the two situations is same. The power consumed in the two situations is same. So that is equals to E by capital R1 plus small r whole square into R1 is equals to E by capital R2 plus small r whole square into R2. E gets cancelled. So that is R2 plus small r divided by R1 plus small r whole square is equals to R2 by R1. R2 by R1. So this comes to this side and this comes to this side. So R2 plus R divided by R1 plus small r is equals to under root R2 by R1. Under root R2 by R1. Now here R2 plus small r divided by root R2 is equals to R1 plus small r divided by root R1. So that is 1 by root R2 plus R by root R2 is equals to 1 by root R1 plus small r by root R1. So from this small r by root R2 minus small r by root R1 is equals to 1 by root R1 minus 1 by root R2. Small r common, root R1 R2 LCM, root R1 minus root R2. So it is equals to somewhat confusing it is. Solution. So this is same. So this is R2 plus R divided by R1 plus R is equals to under root R2 by R1. So simply like this, on solving we can get R is equals to under root R1 R2. So given that P1 equals to P2 here, on solving this we can get R is equals to under root R1 R2. So next, so we can discuss about fuse wire. What is meant by the fuse wire? Fuse wire. What is the fuse wire? So fuse wire, we are connecting a small, everything must have, nowadays all the potential boxes, everything must have the small fuse wires. Fuse wire in the sense, it is made up of with fuse wire, it is made up of with tin lead alloy. 63% of the tin and 37% of the lead. Fuse wire is made up of with tin lead alloy. So for example, if there is no fuse wire, if the large amount of current passes through the household appliances, those household appliances may get damaged. To prevent that, we are connecting the fuse wire. What is the help of this fuse wire in the sense, if the large amount of current passes, the fuse wire gets melted. So that means current stops. Current does not passes through the household appliances. So if the fuse wire gets melted, there is no current passes. So that's why fuse wire always having low melting point and low resistivity. Fuse wire is having low melting point and low resistivity and low melting point. So that is about fuse wire. It is made up of with the tin lead alloy. So 63% of the tin and 37% of the lead. So it is having low melting point and low resistivity. And one more thing is, it is always connected in series. So to the household appliances, it is always connected in series. For example, if it is connected in parallel, maybe extra current may pass in another way, they may get damaged. So parallel combination means current divides. Parallel combination in the sense current divides. So if this fuse wire is connected in parallel, for example parallel combination, so let us say this is one branch, maybe current passes through remaining two branches. If there exists any extra current here, the household appliances may get damaged. So that's why it is always connected in series. So that means current passes through the house through this fuse wire only, through this fuse wire only. If this fuse wire gets damaged, current does not passes. So that is the use of this fuse wire. So it's low melting point and low resistivity. See here. So the main thing is, let L be the length of fuse wire, L be the length of the fuse wire, and R be the radius. L be the length of the fuse wire and R be the radius. So now here resistance, what is the resistance of the fuse wire? Resistance R is equals to rho L by pi R square. Rho L by pi R square. R is equals to rho L by pi R, because resistance formula rho L by A. Resistance formula is rho L by A. Area of cross section is pi R square. Area R is equals to rho L by pi R square. If the current passes through the fuse wire, what is the heat generated? Heat generated. So Q is equals to I square RT. I square R is rho L by pi R square into T. I square RT. R is rho L by pi R square. If the current passes through the fuse wire, Q is what is the amount of heat energy generated? Q is equals to I square RT. I square into rho L by pi R square into T. I square into rho L by pi R square into T. This is the heat energy generated here. So total amount of heat energy generated in the fuse wire, the certain amount of heat energy must be lost to the surroundings. Then only it does not get melted. If the total amount of heat energy utilized by the fuse wire, definitely it melts, but certain amount of heat energy must be lost to the surroundings. So let Q naught be the heat energy lost to the surroundings per unit area. Let Q naught be the, so let us say this is the fuse wire, let us say its length is L and its radius is R. Let Q naught be the heat energy lost to the surroundings per unit area. For this small unit area, let Q naught be the heat energy lost. So what is the total heat energy lost? Total heat energy lost to the surroundings. Total heat energy lost to the surroundings, that is equals to Q naught into surface area. Q naught into surface area is 2 pi RL. Surface area of the cylindrical shape, that is 2 pi RL. So that is whatever is the heat energy generated. If the total heat energy generated is lost to the surroundings, then therefore Q is equals, so this is the heat energy generated and this is the heat energy lost to the surroundings. So here the condition is next. If total heat generated is lost to the surroundings, total heat is lost to the surroundings, then I square into rho L by pi r square into T is equals to I square into rho L by pi r square into T is equals to, so Q naught into 2 pi RL. This is the actually heat energy generated due to the flow of current, and this is the heat energy lost to the surroundings. Let Q naught be the heat energy lost to the surroundings per unit area. For small area, this is the heat energy lost. For the total wire, what is the heat energy lost? That is. So from this we can write L gets cancelled. That means I square is equals to Q naught 2 pi square r cube by rho T. So from this we can write I square proportional to r cube. I square proportional to r cube. Amount of current passes is directly proportional to cube of the radius. So that means I square is equals to Q naught into 2 pi square r cube by rho T. Rho is the specific resistance of the wire that remains constant. T is the time of flow of current, and Q naught is the, we know that, heat energy lost to the surroundings. 2 pi square, pi constant. So that means I square proportional to r cube. For a certain time, I square proportional to r cube. So this is the condition. This is the fuse wire. So fuse wire is nothing but it is made up of with tin lead alloy. 63% of the tin, 37% of the lead. Next, for example, so this is I square proportional to r cube. For example, so when this situation, if the heat energy lost to the surroundings, so that is situation. Here now, if there is no loss of heat energy, there is no loss of heat energy to the surroundings, there is no loss of heat energy to the surroundings. That means there is no loss due to radiation. There is no heat lost due to radiation. In that situation, whatever is the heat produced due to the current, whatever is the heat produced due to the current flow, the total heat utilized by the fuse wire, that means it gets melted. If the heat energy does not lost to the surroundings due to radiation, whatever is the heat produced, the total heat produced must be utilized by the fuse wire, then it gets melted. What is that? In how much time it melts? So that's, let us say. So that means Q is equals to I square RT. So Q is equals to I square rho L by pi r square into T. You know, this is the amount of heat energy generated. But this heat energy must be utilized by the fuse wire. Then Q can be, we know in thermodynamics, Q can be written as ms delta T. ms delta T. So that means ms delta T is equals to I square rho L by pi r square into T. Mass, volume into density. Volume into density. So let us say it is denoted with D. S delta T is equals to I square rho L by pi r square into T. Volume of the cylinder. What is the shape of the fuse wire? Cylindrical shape. That is pi r square L ds delta T is equals to I square rho L by pi r square T. L gets cancelled. So from this T can be written as T is equals to pi square r power 4 ds delta T by I square. So from this we can write T proportional to r power 4. What is the time taken to melt the fuse wire? time taken to melt the fuse wire is directly proportional to fourth power of the radius, and the time taken to melt the fuse wire does not depends on the length. For example, length of the fuse wire is more, time taken is also more. That is not correct, because the time taken to melt the fuse wire, does not depends on length, does not see here, length gets cancelled, does not depends on length. See, so this is the actual heat generated due to the fuse wire, and this total must be utilized by the fuse wire. Then Q is equals to ms delta T, mass can be written as volume into density, volume of the cylindrical shape pi r square L ds delta T. So that is the situation. So T is equals to pi square r power 4 ds delta T by I square. So that what is the time taken to melt the fuse wire? That is directly proportional to fourth power of the radius, does not depends on length. So that is the fuse wire concept.